Welcome to News9 Mediaverse, and you are watching On Point. The big story we are tracking is the Pakistan national elections. Pakistan is not a democracy like India. It's not even like Nepal. It's not even like Bangladesh. It's not even like Sri Lanka. It's like any other democracy. It's a hard state, but democracy is subservient to the army. The army has the final say. Going by the current developments, Nawaz Sharif's party is all set to form the government. Our conversation will be divided into four parts. First, Nawaz Sharif's comeback and rise of Maryam Nawaz. Second, shape of Pakistan's economy. Third, regional representation. And fourth, army's hand. But the most important aspect in terms of our talk points, Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan and Asim Munir. That's the way we're going to go about it. There'll be a couple of bites I'm going to play. In studio, I'm joined by Sandeep Punithan, editor of News9 Plus, and I'll also be joined in this show. And let me tell you, I'm very happy that not only we will have bites from Pakistan that we have been able to get, but I will also be joined by, in this show, Ambassador Veena Sikri, Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma and Muhammad Ali Beg, Research Fellow, Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad, Pakistan. But before I go any further, since we have organized some data, I'll put that on air and then I'll come back to the conversation because it's about Pakistan election. Let's have some clarity. It's different from India. Let me walk to the screen first. It's the 12th general election in Pakistan. 12th general election. 128 million people can vote. It's not like India. 128 million people can vote. India has a bigger, I would say, population. Civilian leaders have ruled directly for 16 years. Let me explain. Let me explain this. When I say civilian leaders, what I mean is, for now, civilian leaders, not for the all time, for now. 16 years, they have directly ruled Pakistan now. Then let's move forward. 521 candidates. 521 candidates. I'll give you the brief description also. We'll divide into subparts. 4,806 male candidates. Patriarchy is a problem. Representation of women is a bigger problem. 312 female candidates. Minuscule. 167 registered political parties in Pakistan. I'm not going to get into the details, but 10 are very significant. 10 are important. Roughly 10 are important. Then 69 male voters. In India, in Telangana, female voters are more than male voters. But this is the national figure for Pakistan. 59 million female voters. So there's a gap of 10 million. 1 crore. 51.9% turnout in 2018 elections is not much. Should have been higher. It was a different election, Imran Khan and all that jazz, but nonetheless. Let's go further. 90,582 polling stations in Pakistan. India, it's huge, there's no comparison with India. Indian democracy is like a dance. It's like Shivji ki Bharat, everyone is there. Now, 336 lawmakers in the National Assembly. It has a different composition. 266 members are directly elected, elections. But 10 seats are reserved for minorities, and in that 60 seats are reserved for women. That, if you compile it, it becomes 366, 134 is the halfway mark to form the government. In India, it is 271. Now, this is very important. This is very important. Punjab, 140 seats. You win Punjab, you win Pakistan. It's like India, when you say, you sweep UP, half the job is done. You sweep UP and Bihar, 70% of the job is done. Sindh has 61 seats. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 45 seats. And now, Baluchistan, let's stay here. 16 seats. It can be a nation. It could have been a nation. But 16 seats only. The big province of Baluchistan. So, and the delimitation issue has become problematic, but maybe for other debate, Islamabad Capital Territory, 3 seats. So this is the basic layout, states. Now, who are the major players? Who are these players? So we will be showing you the major players. He is the player. He is not the major player. He is the player. He got the third lifeline. Third. Benazir Bhutto got 2. He has got third. Then PTI affiliates. I am not using the PTI because PTI it's not fighting elections. So I have said PTI affiliates. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the dynast. Though Mariam is also a dynast. ANP led by Asfandar Ali Khan, important. Then there are other shades, MQMP, Jamaat-e-Islami. There are a number of parties. I will not go into those minor details. Baluchistan party, just Baluchistan Awami party, just for the representation. These are the major players. Now, let me come down to other data. Economy. Inflation is at 30%. 40% people below the poverty line. Debt to GDP ratio at 72%. Both nations were born at the same time. $3 billion loan from IMF, but that's not important. This is the story. 23rd fund program for Pakistan since 1958. So, compare it with India. A different life journey. Compare Pakistan with Bangladesh. A different life journey. Bangladeshi economy is now far more powerful than Pakistan, such a small state. But the sort of business which Bangladesh has done is also an example to the Indian MSMEs. The sort of manufacturing they have done. So Bangladesh is a successful example. So let me straight away go to Sandeep Punithan. Sandeep, why do you think that Nawaz got the third lifeline?
Oh, it's simple, Kartikeya. There's a revolving door in Pakistan, and exactly what the military did with Imran Khan or with Nawaz Sharif in 2018. Let's not forget, Nawaz Sharif was the most popular politician in Pakistan. He is the lion of the Punjab province, and you had him being removed unceremoniously on corruption charges, Panama Gate, all of that thing, and then Imran Khan was brought in, and now 5 years later, the washing machine of GHQ Rawalpindi has dry cleaned Nawaz Sharif. It's brought him back into the reckoning. Imran Khan is in the clinker. So there's that amazing washing machine in Pakistan, which not only tarnishes politicians, which targets them, but it also cleans them every few years. And that's what we are witnessing here, Kartikeya.
Okay, now let me go across to Ambassador Sikri. So Sandeep says that Pakistan it's like a revolving door. Prime Minister Modi visited Pakistan in his tenure. If I'm not wrong, he was in Afghanistan. Then we journalists and we were in newsroom, and we were told that he has landed there. And then some could have food, some couldn't have the food. That has been depicted. But madam, my question to you is that will it be different from India if Nawaz Sharif becomes the Prime Minister, or is it going to be the same thing?
Well, I think first of all, we have to understand that what we have in Pakistan is not elections, but selection. So the selection of the Prime Minister is what is going to happen. And just as in 2018, it was a great popularity of Imran Khan, but he was a candidate of the army. And then because his popularity became so much, he thought he could forget about the army, but certainly you cannot in Pakistan. And so he was got rid of, and now Nawaz Sharif, who was exiled in 2018 for corruption and hundreds of cases against him, but he was allowed to go abroad and live in London. He's been brought back and the cases against him have been dropped, and he's going to become the Prime Minister. So obviously, when we're talking about policy towards India, it is the army that you have to look at. What is going to be General Asim Munir's policy towards India? Is he going to drop any of his terrorism approach, support for terrorist groups, non-state actors, all the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taibas and all the other groups working with the support of the establishment in Pakistan? Is their activity going to get any less? We have seen in recent months that in addition to the LOC, even across the international boundary, there have been, terrorists sent across, and all kinds of activity. People have lost their lives. But there doesn't seem to be any let-up in the Pakistan army's belligerence towards India. Now, this is the question we have to ask. Certainly, many people do say that as Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has a positive viewing of India. We do know that Prime Minister Modi made a very special gesture in visiting Pakistan when Nawaz Sharif was Prime Minister. But I do not know whether it today, in the context of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif coming back, whether his views are going to make any difference at all, because he is clearly under the tenure of the army. The army is the puppet; they're holding the strings. They are holding all the strings. And to what extent will Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif be able to act is a moot point. So I think that in other countries, you have the voice of the people in elections. In Pakistan, you have the permission of the army in elections as to who is going to come and who is not going to come. Imran Sharif was at one point willing to take on the army, but we see that not only has he been put in jail, his party has been split up, splinter groups from his party have formed a new party with the permission of the army, and they're going to stand for election. The former foreign minister is also in jail together with Imran Khan. So the PTI is a completely weakened party. They will not be there effectively during the elections. What Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif will say about India, we will soon hear in a few days. But whether it will be his own views or the views of the army, I think we have to wait and watch. I'm very skeptical. These are selections, not elections.
Selection, not the election. But you know, in this election, Nawaz Sharif has promoted Maryam Nawaz and his popularity has gone up. In number of rallies, I was going through the papers printed from Pakistan, and you know, the survey that was done. Why has that happened? I really want to know why. How come the charge of corruption has not stuck on Nawaz Sharif? You know, years he spent in Jeddah, corruption issues. Years he spent in London, corruption issues. He comes back, Maryam campaigns, and you know, his popularity goes up. From an Indian perspective, I fail to understand this.
But you know, this is a created popularity. I mean, just as he was popular when he was Prime Minister, but immediately when he was to be sent off and taken away from his Prime Ministership, all the corruption cases came up. And as a great favor, he was not put in jail, but he was allowed to go into exile. And that's what happened to him. But now that he's been brought back because they need him as Prime Minister, so all the popularity, the people are coming out. Of course, he does have his own popularity in Punjab. His brother was Prime Minister also, and earlier Chief Minister of Punjab. So the Sharif family is very well known in Punjab. There is no doubt about it. They are a very leading business family also, in addition to be very astute and, you know, very deeply endowed and well-known political family as well. So he has a lot of clout in Punjab, and certainly he has a following in Punjab. All that is very much there. But his following has been there all these years, but suppressed. His daughter has been in Pakistan all these years, and she has certainly tried her best to win over the women's vote, and she's been very active and dynamic and popular in her own way. But I'm saying again and again that it is the army that allowed him to go away, and the army that has brought him back. And the army is now putting up a very good show of saying that it is his popularity, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's popularity, that will bring him back to power as Prime Minister. But we know that that is not so. What will happen actually when Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif takes as the head of government, we will see.
Okay. In our next segment, please don't go away. In our next segment, we'll talk about Imran Khan, and in the next two segments, Asim Munir. But it's time for a short break. Once we are back, we'll play out some bites we have from Pakistan.
तो जब हम करेंगे तो पता लग ही जाएगा. सलमान खान का करेंगे, मारेंगे यहीं जोधपुर में मारेंगे तो पता लग जाएगा.
This is someone who is sitting inside our jails and is still very obviously and openly running, and possibly the largest organized criminal operation in the country.
Student organization of Punjab University में सोपूगा acting president type भी रहा है.
He was a troublemaker, getting into fights with people, not coming to the class.
As on date, it appears that Lawrence gang is the most important, the prominent gang. Gangs here in Punjab, they are intimidated.
Today he is India's most dangerous gangster, and India's presence are apparently no bar to how Bishnoi runs India's largest criminal empire.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Now we're going to talk about Imran Khan and why did he rub the Pakistani army the wrong way? But why is he so popular? Will PTI affiliates spoil the show for Nawaz? And Imran represents a type of politics. He represents a type of aspiration. And politics abhors vacuum. So who can take his place? These are the 4 issues we'll take up. But before that, let me play out some bites from Pakistan.
कोई बंदा नहीं, कोई 25,000 सैलरी है किसी बंदे की, तो वो बंदा यानी कि ये देखे ना, अब कोई चीज़ खरीद रहा है मंथली उसका इनकम जो सी है वो 50,000 अबव है, ठीक है, और 25,000 जो सी है उसकी यानी कि घर का राशन आता है, ठीक है, 25,000 बच्चों के स्कूल की फीसें हैं, बाकी ये वो चीज़ें एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डनरी बिल, गैस के बिल, बिजली के बिल और बहुत चीज़ें ऐसी हैं कि बंदा अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता। जो 25,000 इनकम सैलरी ले रहा है उसे समझ से बाहर है कि कैसे कंट्रोल करना है घर को।
ठीक है, अपनी जेबें भरेंगे, बस यही कर सकते हैं वो। आवाम के लिए फ़ायदा नहीं, नौजवानों के लिए फ़ायदा नहीं, ना नौकरियां देते हैं, सिर्फ लारे पे रखते हैं।
मैं अपनी लाइफ का पहली बार वोट डालूंगी इस बार 2024 में, और मैं चाहूँगी मैं कोई ऐसी पार्टी का वोट दूँ जो ईमानदार हो, जो ईमानदारी से अपने जो है फ़राइज़ को अंजाम दे, जो गरीबों के हक़ में आवाज़ उठाए। देखिए अमीर जो है, अमीर तो कहीं भी बड़ी से बड़ी डिग्री ले लेंगे, बड़ी से बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी में चले जाएंगे, कॉलेजेस में चले जाएंगे। असल बात है गरीबों की, वो गरीबों की ख्वाब नहीं है, उनके बच्चों की भी तो बहुत से ख्वाब है ना कि वो भी पढ़ें लिखें, कोई एक अच्छी कोई टीचर बने, कोई इंजीनियर बने, उनकी बहुत सारे ख्वाब हैं। तो हमें उनके ख्वाबों की भी कदर करनी चाहिए। हमें ऐसे तालीमी इदारे बनाने चाहिए जहाँ हम लोग जो है फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट एजुकेशन दें, उन्हें अच्छी अच्छी जो है डिग्रियाँ मिले, वो लोग भी आगे बढ़े।
Okay, let me go across to General Sharma. Sir, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, Imran Khan. He rubbed Americans the wrong way, sir. He rubbed Indians the wrong way. But he rubbed the main entity the wrong way, the army. When did he cross the Rubicon with them?
Okay, thank you, Kartikeya, for inviting me.
My pleasure,
By 21, 22, the cleavage was clear. He was already talking against the army in many ways, and he wanted to put the army into place. But it actually started with that General Faiz, who was the ISI chief, whom he wanted to retain as ISI chief, when Imran Khan wanted to retain him, and when the chief wanted to post him out and get his own fellow there. So I think that became a catalyst for why Imran Khan decided that, okay, enough is enough, and he started making noises against the army. So I think that General Faiz Hamid became the first issue that changed the thing. And thereafter his tone and tenor changed against the army quite a bit, and he said he had great popularity. He thought his popularity alone will carry the day and the military will have to be put into place. As it is, after the 19th Amendment in 2010 and 2011, the army cannot carry out a coup. So the doctrine of necessity, which was there every time a coup happened in Pakistan, was put behind the scenes in that 19th Amendment that took place to the Pakistani constitution. So therefore, the Pakistan army could not do the coup, but they officially coup, but they did an unofficially coup. They removed him away. They worked at it. So they worked at it for quite some time, and after that cipher case came up, you know, that cipher written by the American ambassador to Shah Mahmud Qureshi, which the Imran Khan was showing it across in a rally. Look, the Americans want to topple me and all that. Then things had gone out of hand. By that time things had gone out of hand, they thought, you know, this chap, he is challenging the Americans.
Okay.
And you know, naturally, the Americans also won't like them to
but
be
General,
challenged.
there is also, but General, there's also one side to it, Sandeep. He continues to be a popular politician.
Absolutely.
So, can you just take us through why he continues to be a popular politician, despite being behind bars, despite so many corruption cases?
Kartikeya, the test of the free and fair elections in Pakistan is if Imran Khan were to stand for elections, he would win by a landslide, and that is the kind of popularity that he enjoys in Pakistan today. And the longer he has been imprisoned, the more cases that have been put out, on him, the way his party has been dismembered, dismantled. Despite all of that, there is a incredible fan following that he enjoys among the people. And I think The reason for that, Kartikeya, has to do with the fact that Pakistan is a very young country. The median age in Pakistan is just 23 years. And there is a generation of Pakistani voters, young people, who haven't seen leaders before him. And for him, he is saying all the right things. He says that I am the guy out there, I am challenging the Americans, I am standing up for Afghanistan, I am standing up for the Muslim people of the world. All of these things seem to have struck a chord with the people. And if you ask me, Kartikeya, Imran Khan's popularity is the kind of popularity that Donald Trump enjoys in the United States. Both of them are outliers. They are both outsiders. They were not politicians, they're not career politicians. Okay. They've come in, they've parachuted into politics, and they've struck a chord with the people. People absolutely love him. That's the reason he's the most popular and the most beloved politician in Pakistan.
Okay, let me play out a package, before all that, it's slightly old, but it tells you how his campaign team at that point of time organized an AI-based election campaign for him. Now, there is no PTI, everything has been taken away, the symbol, the party, he himself is behind bars. But I'll show you this package, how they were trying to create a campaign for him through AI.
Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan may be in prison after multiple courts handed him jail sentences ahead of national elections, but the campaigning for his party PTI is still going on underground with the help of women and artificial intelligence. Days before the February 8 election, 25-year-old Komal Asghar leads a team of women through alleys in the eastern city of Lahore, all covered by masks and headscarves. They're knocking on doors and handing out leaflets adorned with photos of the former Prime Minister. It's easy for women going door to door, and if they feel any threat, they can sneak into any house, Asghar says, adding that the public perceives women as non-threatening. PTI campaigners fear the country's powerful military after Khan was ousted in 2022 and fell out with them. The party has since accused the military of trying to hound them out of existence. Apart from Khan, who's been in jail since August, many other PTI candidates are behind bars or on the run from criminal and terrorism charges, which they say are politically motivated. PTI also says candidates' posters are taken down and their rallies disrupted. The military denies the allegations, and authorities said they only stopped PTI from campaigning when it lacked permits or if supporters clashed with law enforcement. To avoid what PTI sees as interference, the party is not only making use of stealthy female campaigners, but also turning to advanced technology.
The news from social media.
PTI social media lead Gibran Ilyas, who's based overseas, says restrictions on the party have forced it to hold rallies, called Jalsa in Urdu, online. And with the help of generative AI, the party has created footage of Khan, its founder, reading speeches he conveyed to lawyers from his prison cell that urged supporters to go out and vote. That's drawn several 100,000 people to watch at a time, according to YouTube data.
So we have never had a political rally without Imran Khan. So for us, it was a no-brainer to have some sort of Imran Khan's message at that virtual Jalsa, which was huge.
No reliable polling is publicly available, but analysts have said Khan maintains strong support, especially among Pakistan's large youth population. However, analysts say all signs show that the military is backing Khan's rival, another former Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif. And they say that gives Sharif an edge in a country where army generals can make or break governments.
And I'm also joined by noted author, someone who understands Pakistan, Mr. Sareen, Sushant Sareen. Thank you for joining me. Mr. Sareen, we were discussing why he angered the army. And I asked Sandeep, but despite that, he continues to be popular. So my question is, what sort of the political space he occupies? Because he must be representing a politics. So what sort of politics does Imran Khan represents when it comes to Pakistan?
So I think his politics is a combination of things. It's right-wing at one level, ultra-nationalist at another level. He wasn't exactly opposed to the army. In fact, he was quite a pet of the army. But I think he wanted to do his own thing. He is a kind of a cult figure for his followers, and that cult seems to have expanded over a period of time. So a lot of people in Pakistan, when they analyze the prospects for PTI, although I don't think they have much of a prospect because of the kind of crackdown, their point of reference is 2018, when Imran Khan rode into power on the crutches of the Pakistan army. But since then, he has cultivated a major vote bank of his own, which includes a lot of the young people who are voting very differently from what their elders or their parents would want to vote. He has also managed to harness the anti-establishment vote, which is kind of ironic because he's a man who rode into power on the shoulders of the army, but is now representing the anti-establishment vote, which is quite substantial in Pakistan. And I think what he's also managed to harness is the anger in the public over the kind of economic mismanagement that has gone on in the last 16, 18 months since Imran Khan had been ousted. Now, again, this is ironical because a lot of the economic problems are because of the feckless governance of Imran Khan himself and the kind of cluelessness with he and his team displayed. But when the Nawaz Sharif government, coalition government came into power, they were forced to take certain actions to kind of prevent a default and get into an IMF program, which led to massive increases in fuel prices, massive increases in inflation, massive increases in electricity tariffs, so much so that in many cases, households have to pay electricity tariffs ranging anything from 50 rupees a unit to 70 rupees a unit. So that's become unaffordable.
Okay.
Inflation has gone through the roof.
Okay.
So the economic distress which has happened has also led to many people gravitating towards the PTI and supporting Imran Khan and seeing the others as representing an old style of politics with no new ideas. So I think it is a combination of factors which has made him the center pole in many ways of Pakistani politics. So the election tomorrow is really an election between Imran Khan and Asim Munir.
Okay.
And the guys who come into power are the people who will be riding on the shoulders of Asim
Absolutely.
Munir coming in.
Because that's the third part of my show, Asim Munir. But we'll take that issue up after a short break.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा.
There's certainly a wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
There's a new video around what deepfake can do.
We have seen a trailer of this a few days back.
Rumors should not be only on the platform.
We'll have to wait and see how those play out.
Hindenburg's report cannot be taken as gospel of truth.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
So the bottom line is that the Pakistan decides the fate of the civilian government. Fate and the faith in the process of democracy both. So the question is, who is Asim Munir Sandeep? Who is this gentleman? How is he different from, say, Bajwa? How is he different from Ziaul Haq? Someone every Indian would know as a name. How is this general different? And what sort of shadow he has casted on Pakistan's election?
Well, Kartikeya, Asim Munir is the most powerful man in Pakistan today. The question to be asked is the Pakistan of General Asim Munir the Pakistan of General Ziaul Haq? Absolutely not. You have Pakistan that's dealing with record inflation, unemployment, riven by terrorist attacks. It's seeing the kind of terror attacks not seen in a decade. It's living from hand to mouth, literally. IMF loans, they took a $3 billion IMF loan last year. That money will be running out in a few months' time. So whoever comes to power, whoever Asim Munir selects in the elections tomorrow will have to go with a fresh begging bowl. And he has possibly the most powerful man in Pakistan, but the worst job in Pakistan, because he has now taken on himself this job of restoring Pakistan, economy, foreign policy, do all of that, right? So while his predecessors were more in the shadows, they took a slightly back seat in politics, Munir is more up and, in front, in your face. And this rivalry that one of our speakers just mentioned, it's actually a rivalry between Asim Munir and Imran Khan. When Imran Khan challenged Asim Munir, he opposed his candidature as DG ISI. It became a battle between the two of them, battle between the army and Imran Khan. And last year when Imran Khan called out all those people went out on the streets against the Pakistan army.
He's also supposed to be an Hafiz. So my question to you, Sandeep, is under Ziaul Haq, Pakistan went through process of Islamization. Are we going to see a sort of a new process of Islamization under Munir?
Well, that's an interesting question, Kartikeya. And in fact, he comes from a deeply religious family, and his brothers, his parents have all Sayyids, very illustrious family of Pakistan, not Pakistan, Punjab, but from India's Punjab, Jalandhar, like General Zia. Okay. They're from this side of the border. They migrated after partition. Deeply religious, very quiet, nurses grudges, very different from General Bajwa. And he's actually been saying a lot of things about India. He's very hardline on India, about Kashmir, about Afghanistan. He said, the life of one Pakistani is more important than all Afghan lives. He's pushed so many Afghan refugees back into Afghanistan. He's attacked Iran. So he's actually managed to anger all of his neighbors simultaneously. And sooner or later, all these problems are going to come and haunt him.
Okay. General, do you think that he's going to retire in 2025? A lot of people are saying he's not going to retire. So, India is going to be surrounded by people who don't retire from politics, who don't retire from army. Putin doesn't retire from, Russian politics. She doesn't retire from politics. You have Kim, you have Erdogan, and then you have Munir who doesn't want to retire. And then you have the Myanmar's army, sir. The general doesn't want to go away.
So Kartikeya, you shouldn't ask a question like this for whichever answer I give you will be wrong. Because nobody retires. I don't think he's going to retire also. Even I say, these things are paid by the year. We have to see how election results come.
But on a serious note, sir, Kayani retired, Bajwa retired, generals retired.
You see, they got on extensions. See, Bajwa got extension beyond it. He beyond his time, and he made life hell for Imran Khan later. Imran Khan gave extension to Bajwa. So, it depends on how is the relationship with the new government comes up, and whether the new government will be lame duck. I am not even sure if Nawaz Sharif will get 68 odd seats. I don't think he'll get it. He'll require a support of Bilawal to come up to 168 level. And there are a whole lot of independents which are standing on as ex-PTI who are advertising that I am PTI, but I don't have a flag and don't have a thing. So, the elections are wrong.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a problem. Let me take.
I'm very sure Nawaz Sharif is not coming up with a clean slate.
Okay.
I think Nawaz Sharif is not coming out clean winner in this game. He will.
Basically, you are saying, General, you are saying that it's going to be a hung parliament. But Mr. Sain, how important are the elections in Pakistan to India? Or they are irrelevant actually?
It doesn't make any difference, yeah. But let me just join issue with a couple of things General Sharma has said and Sandeep has said. I'm surprised Sandeep says that it's the worst job in Pakistan which Munir has. It's a job for which people will give a leg and an arm and everything possible to get. So I don't know why he says. And this is a job. Come on, Sandeep. You should know Pakistan. This is a job where
you're going to answer that, Sandeep, now.
Yeah, I can't. You're going to answer that after Mr.
Sandeep. No, please go ahead.
You have all the power, all the authority, and no responsibility. Because you can always shove it onto the civilian, the bloody civilian as they are called out there. Right. So this is the best job in the world. And then, because you are a general, you are supposed to be the repository of all the wisdom in the world. You are an economist, you are a political scientist, you are, in his case, you are a religious scholar. You are everything, So he's a multifarious personality, God's gift to mankind and to Pakistan. So, and every general is very professional. It's a strange country where every general is supposed to be very professional, as though non-professional people also become generals. But I don't think I'll be as presumptuous as General Sharma on predicting what the results are going to be tomorrow. For all you know, Nawaz Sharif might actually win a simple majority on his own, simply because the opposition, especially in Punjab, has been decimated to a point where it simply is not going to be in the fray. That's a very real possibility. I don't think we can ignore it. The general speculation is that it will be a hung verdict. But the possibility that this army calculation has gone wrong and Nawaz Sharif actually comes in with a thumping majority, maybe not a 2/3, but at least a simple majority or very close to a majority. And then he doesn't need Bilawal Bhutto. What he needs is a smattering of people, maybe some independents, smaller parties, and he can cobble together a majority.
I think, you really, I think this was one part of my discussion that was missing. I would like to come on that, but Sandeep, you wanted to...
Yeah, quickly, Kartikeya, I want to basically talk to Sushant about what he said about the Pakistan army and the... See, Pakistan has these generals who think they are God's gift to Pakistan. There are 4 of them who've actually directly captured power. First, you have General Ayub. You know what happened to General Ayub. Died in ignominy. Then you have General Yahya Khan. Died again in ignominy. He lost half his country, died a broken man. Then you have General Ziaul Haq, takes Pakistan, he grabs the nuclear weapons from the civilian thing, thinks he is God's gift to Pakistan. And then Benazir Bhutto writes in her book that when the plane exploded, there were so many pieces, they couldn't even find his body parts to put in a thing. And finally, you know what happened to General Musharraf, again God's gift to Pakistan. And now you have General Asim Munir, who is surrounded by every manner of threat, from the Pakistan Taliban to the Afghan Taliban to the Iranians to unknown gunmen. So, you know, and the economy is going bust. So this is not the Pakistan of the even General Zia. They were like, that was a different country. Today you're looking at a Pakistan that's smaller than Bangladesh. Bangladesh is $10 billion ahead of Pakistan. And if you ask me, Kartikeya, Bangladesh today is the Pakistan of Muhammad Ali Jinnah's dreams.
Oh, absolutely. But what happens to this gentleman on the screen, Mr. Sareen? Then I'll go to General Sharma. What happens to Bilawal Bhutto? You know, we have spoken about all the players, but he was functioning as, he was the Foreign Affairs Minister of Pakistan. And he had a high profile position. He came to India. I mean, he has a position in his own party. He's a dynast. But he's not in the picture. You know, if you look at the write-ups in Pakistan, it's either Imran Khan, Nawaz Sharif or Maryam Nawaz. Why?
Yeah, because look, there are a couple of reasons. I think, the People's Party has been decimated outside of Punjab. It gets a smattering of seats, maybe a handful, half a dozen in Punjab, and maybe a couple of others in Balochistan. This time they're expecting some more. I doubt if they'll get anything in KP. Even in Punjab, they might just improve from around 5 or 6, which they had last time, another couple of seats. Basically, their bastion is Sindh, and that also rural Sindh. So it's a sub-regional party in many ways, not even a regional party anymore. So there are limits to what Bilawal Bhutto can do with all his pretensions. But look, like every dynast, there are a couple of problems with him. We have people out here who think their USP is that they resemble their grandmother, right? Similarly, this guy Bilawal's USP is that he is constantly, talking about his grandfather and his mother. Most of Pakistan's voters have no relation with those people anymore, right? So what is the new thing that you are bringing onto the table? What new idea are you giving? Now, his manifesto says that soch nahi, or I'm coming in with a new thought. But what is the new thought he's coming in? A 50-year-old slogan called Roti Kapda Aur Makan. These guys can't even see the irony of what they're trying to do. Number one. Number two, so there is a limitation to what he can win. Number two, there is, I think he himself realizes that this election is for him to rebuild his party, or at least establish a presence in places like Punjab and other provinces, because he's been touring a lot in Punjab and KP and Balochistan. Not so much Balochistan. Balochistan doesn't matter anyways, because it's just about 16 seats. But he's been touring a lot in the other provinces. And I think what he's trying to do is re-establish a presence of the People's Party in these places and position himself for becoming the Prime Minister the next time after Nawaz Sharif or whoever else becomes the Prime Minister after tomorrow's election, and shoots himself in the foot or falls out with the army. That is the time when Bilawal will position himself or thinks he can position himself as the next Ladla who will be brought into power. Somebody who speaks in a clipped English accent so he can relate to the rest of the world. Basically a showboy for the international community. Somebody who thinks that, by bad-mouthing India, he'll get brownie points in Pakistan. When he came to India, that was his game plan. And just like his grandfather, that he'll copy his grandfather in giving speeches. And he makes a hash out of it because, he can't speak Urdu also properly.
Okay,
So
but there's another dimension to it. People change.
But people also
change over a period of time. Nawaz Sharif, his first he languished in Jeddah. The next time he was in London. General Sharma, do you think that this time the relationship between Nawaz Sharif and the army will be more warmer, more cordial?
I doubt it. It will last more than a year and a half. That's a maximum.
That's all you're giving him.
Yeah, I'm giving him a year and a half. After that, they will find some excuse to break up. It is. See, finally, Munir has come out with some kind of a funny doctrine which makes an equidistant between China and US. He also comes up with some kind of a economic doctrine for Pakistan and all that. But when you have an elected government and you have elected people, somebody will start asserting himself. They will be in some time. There will be cleavages drawn between the army and this one. If they last year and a half, that should be more than enough. Thereafter, they will be, you'll find excuses why it can't be done. And I want to add one thing about Bilawal is that, he's been projected as a millennial. Of course, he's not a millennial, but he's been projected as a millennial. And that's why Nawaz Sharif in the last rally was saying, Kitne youth hai? Haath khada karo, how many youth? And how many, see, he's also saying Bilawal should not take advantage of being young. And while Nawaz Sharif is across the hill. So, there is a thing. So I still think Bilawal will carry Sindh in a manner that out of 70 odd seats, he might get 50 odd. He will have a power to reckon with in supporting or not supporting or making life difficult for Nawaz Sharif. I have my doubt if Nawaz Sharif doesn't get a full majority and he has a hung assembly, as Sushant was mentioning, then whether he would like to still become the prime minister or he'll push Mariam. So if he gets, say for example, out of this 140 seats or 150 seats of Punjab, if he gets only about 100 odd seats, it might be he may push it Mariam to take over or may Shahbaz Sharif.
That's very interesting.
It may be. I mean, you today not guarantee that Nawaz Sharif will be in chair.
Okay, Sandeep, do you think the Mariam is the successor now?
Absolutely, there's no doubt. Absolutely not, Kartikeya. And it's been the case for the last 5 or 6 years. She's been at the forefront of the PMNL and in the recent rallies, Nawaz has been, taking Mariam along with him, and the kind of social media posts. It's very clear that the baton in the Sharif family is passing on to Mariam. And she's not very old, she's about 50, but she clearly has a long way to go before she can succeed Nawaz. I think Nawaz is 74 and he's not that old either, so he's got at least one full term that he can complete in Pakistani politics. But the thing is that Mariam is very clearly his successor, and essentially what you're looking at is these two political families in Pakistan, the Bhutto Zardaris and the Sharifs, and they're both getting their Gen Next into politics. Mariam is a bit, because she had a family to run and all of that, so she's a little behind Bilawal. Bilawal is 34, he's exactly 35, he's half the age of both Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif. So while he's a provincial politician, as Sushant and Jal Sharma was saying, he's got time on his side. He's just 35. He's got at least 30 or 40 years of active politics in him.
Okay, Mr. Sari, that's a good point which Sandeep made. But I have a question for you. Do you think that in future there's a possibility that Imran gets a lifeline? But the Bhuttos got it. She got it twice. Nawaz has got it thrice. Is there a possibility for him, to say some sort of a joker out of the pack in the sense that, he gets to come out?
Absolutely, but not as long as Asim Munir is around. So if Asim Munir was to retire in a year and a half's time, I think 2025 is when he is due to retire, November.
But that was my question to Sandeep and General Sharma, that is he going to retire? Both of them said no, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Kartikeya, everybody retires. Now, ultimately, nobody lives forever. And what happens in the army is, unless you are a military dictator, you've directly taken over power. Even then, your shelf life is about 10 years, give or take 1 or 2. Right? If you are an army chief who's an extension, you can go for 1 extension at best. Going for a second extension becomes very difficult, because then there's a lot of problems which emerge within the army. There's a lot of cupping sounds. For example, Bajwa wanted another extension, right? After his first extension, he was trying for another one, but there was so much of stuff which had happened that there was no way he was going to get it anymore. There would have been a rebellion from within the army. Okay, so there are limits to what a general in uniform can do and what a general as a usurper can, how far he can go. So I'm assuming Asim Munir does not take over power directly. At best, he's there till 2028, which means as long as he's going to be there, there's so much of bad blood between him and Imran, then it's curtains for Imran, because by that time Imran will be close to 80 years old. and a lot of that time will be spent in prison. Alternatively, if Munir was to step out of office by 2025, a new guy comes in, and by that time there is some problems which are bound to happen between whoever forms the next government and the military, then Imran becomes a great tool to be used to scare, whoever is in government into submission, number one, or to present as a possible alternative. That is a possibility, and in which case all his sentences, everything else will go out for a 6. But let me stick my neck out a little bit. Number one, the youth that this guy Nawaz Sharif was talking about, that was not aimed at Bilawal. That was aimed at Imran's supporters and Imran's drum beaters who claim that the youth in Pakistan is with Imran Khan. So it was not so much aimed at Bilawal Bhutto. They've ignored Bilawal Bhutto because he is not really a challenge to them. He's been taking jibes at Nawaz, but that's about it. But let me stick my neck out a little more out here. And really, I hope you lose this clip if I'm wrong. Personally, if Nawaz Sharif wins this election or his party wins this election, this might well be the last election that Muslim League Nawaz wins. And I say this because it's a party which is living in the past. It's a party which has no new ideas. It's a party whose developmental model is so 1980s and 1990s. Just yesterday, Nawaz Sharif was talking about becoming an Asian tiger. Who wants to become an Asian tiger these days? Yeah, come on. For God's sake, Asian tigers is 1980s and 90s. Does India say I want to become an Asian tiger today? Maybe 20 years back, we would have wanted to become an Asian tiger. So, their entire sales pitch is like last century, and the kind of people they bring in, there is a very little connect between those guys and what the new realities of politics are. So they managed to sneak in this time because of a falling out between Imran and the army. But will they be able to do it the next time also? So I have serious doubts whether either People's Party or Muslim League Nawaz, the way it is constituted right now, is likely to come back into power. And I have serious doubts if Nawaz does not get all the numbers this time, or he wants to, quit after a year or so in office. I don't think he can give the baton onto Mariam right now. She can become the chief minister in Punjab, although even that might be a bit of a stretch. But I don't see Mariam being acceptable as a prime ministerial candidate by the army at this point in time. I don't see it happen, and I could be wrong, but I don't see it happen.
But before Mr. Tharin, I let go of you, there is an absence of the sort of a Tehreek-e-Labbaik activism in these elections. Why is that? Because Islamism and Pakistan politics with army are fused together. Why is it absent, or have I missed it? Have people missed it? Is it? I have not seen it.
I think just because the media does not cover something does not mean something is not happening on the ground. We know that from our own experience in India, right? We used to ignore Mayawati at one point of time, and she won an election, and the entire media had muck on their faces because they never gave Mayawati much of a chance in UP, and I'm talking about 10-15 years back. The point I'm trying to make is that Tehreek-e-Labbaik represents the underclass in places like Punjab and parts of Sindh. These are people who are your normal everyday plumber, carpenter, etc., etc. This is a huge number of people. They have fused together religion with the class factor. I don't think they've argued it as sophisticatedly, but that is what their constituency is. It's a fairly large constituency. In the last election, it emerged as the largest religious political party in Pakistan.
Correct. Yes.
And there are reasons to believe that they will certainly improve their vote numbers this time. That's the speculation. We'll wait and see what the final results come out. Will they be able to win any seats on their own? Question mark. Will they dent the prospects of other players? Definitely. But I'm not entirely sure whether they'll dent the prospects of Nawaz Sharif or somebody else this time around.
Okay. Thank you all of you for participating in this discussion. But before I let go of all of you, do tune in at 9. Sandeep has done a fabulous discussion on Asim Munir, various other issues which I have not taken up because the first and the second part of my discussion was primarily on Maryam Nawaz and Imran Khan and other issues. So if you really want to decode the general, tune it at 9. And if you want to see Pak elections on network, then tune in to News9 Live tomorrow from 8 a.m. because we will be doing a waterfall coverage on Pakistan. Thank you so much.
There's a new video around what deepfake can do.
We had seen a trailer of this a few days back. Rollers should not be only on the platform.
We'll have to wait and see how those play out.
Hindenburg's report cannot be taken as gospel of truth.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
A defiant performance by Tan Hag's men. Now standing at 7 feet 4 inches, Satnam Singh is making his way into professional wrestling.
We are getting more good news for India.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, that US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on